When you pay a lot of money for something that's supposed to have real and lasting value, and you don't get what you paid for, you understandably want your money back. Now, if I were the parent of a kid who was at the Ivy League Columbia University, I'd want my money and my kid back. That's what I'd want. It cost over $90,000 a year for the privilege of being a student at Columbia University in New York City. And I would think that most parents send a child there with the hopes that he or she will get a world-class education that will lead to a seven-figure job and a solid future. But watching the disgraceful behavior of students, the faculty, and the president of Columbia this week, I would insist that my child pack his or her bags, get on the first flight, and get home. I'd not only be demanding a full refund, I'd initiate a class action lawsuit with other parents for being defrauded into believing that Columbia was educating students to be intelligent and responsible adults. Instead, Columbia has turned the asylum over to the inmates, and it's become a place of genuine danger for Jewish students who are being bullied, harassed, and threatened with their very lives by students whose parents ought to be ashamed of the ignorant and arrogant little snots that they raised. The atmosphere has gotten so bad that Columbia suspended in-person classes for the rest of the year, and now they're offering courses virtually. The students who have disrupted the campus, created total meltdown of the social order, and have promoted Jew-hating, anti-Semitic genocide of the state of Israel and the Jewish people ought to be expelled immediately, banned from ever setting foot on the campus again, and ordered to pay for the damages to the other students whose education is being stolen by these selfish little brats. I mean, let's face it, most of the protesters are from upper-income families. One, by the way, is the daughter of the radical nut job and America-hating Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Another one is from Georgia, whose parents live in a $3 million home. Their little darling is hardly capable of having a clue about oppression, discrimination, or deprivation, but yet she calls for death to America while wearing a covering over her privileged white face and screaming support for Hamas. I mean, does she have a clue that by supporting Hamas, she's calling for the violent rape of innocent women in front of their families, or for the beheading of babies in their cribs, for the butchering of women and children in their own homes? I mean, a parent paying just south of $100,000 for their child's education ought to get more than having their child turned into a genocidal monster who screams for the annihilation of the Jewish people. But that's exactly what these people are demanding when they scream, "From the river to the sea." So far, a small number of these ungrateful little hellions have taken a quick bus ride to a police precinct, but then they get turned loose, while the Jewish students are urged to shelter in place, or even told to leave the campus completely for their own safety. Many of the overpaid professors have joined in the anarchy, and the only professor at Columbia who has been banned from the campus is a Jewish professor. Folks, this looks more like something from 1933 Nazi Germany than modern America. It may be that the spoiled, overindulged offspring of elites who made their way to what's now best described as a poison ivy campus, they've permanently destroyed the hundreds of years of prestige that these once prestigious universities have held. Now, billionaire donors like Bob Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, they have announced their wallets will be closed, just as closed as are the minds of the young students who ignorantly believe that America is rotten, but life in Gaza is peachy keen. And that's a start for the donors to start doing that. But I think it's time for parents who truly love their children to refuse to send them to a sausage grinder of stupidity so as to have them mentally mutilated by idiots who teach them that it is okay to murder civilians ruthlessly and then celebrate it gleefully. If you want to turn your child into a dim-witted psychopath, I'd say do it at home. Save your money. Or you could just raise your children to respect God, their freedom, their wonderful country, and other people, and save more than your money. You might just save your kids.